Hi and welcome back to Par Breakers Golf Academy. So glad you could be with us. I'm Bernard Sheridan, and today we're congratulating Seung Yul Noh on his first win at the Zurich Classic in Louisiana this past weekend. So fine swing, and we're going to take a look at some of the things that he does in his swing that I'd like to see you do in your swing. Okay. And initially that takeaway, a little bit of an early hinge here, so he is but notice too, by the time he gets to this 8 o'clock position, all right, there's some really good things that he's doing in his takeaway that I would like to see happen in your takeaway. Now, the first one is that club face is well out in front of him, okay? And that's really important. Go back to this shoulder plane. So, and if we notice, that club face is right on that shoulder plane line, and his hands are right on his torso plane line, okay? So, as he goes back, his hands continue to ride that line until he's just about parallel to the ground, okay? And then he's kind of splitting that swing plane, moving up towards his shoulder. But his initial takeaway is very much on that torso plane as a takeaway, okay? And the shaft stays very much out in front of him. So in other words, as that shaft rides up the shoulder plane, okay, or the club head rides up the shoulder plane, that's staying in front of him. And the other thing that I want you to notice here, which is a big plus, is that we're really seeing a nice attachment of left arm as it works its way up across the chest, okay? So right here at that 9 o'clock position, or parallel to the ground, okay, he is really straight across his chest there, and he's keeping a solid connection of that left arm to the body, and then up to the shoulder plane, okay? Now, as he comes back down, we're going to see that the hands initially start to ride down the shoulder plane, and the club starts to drop, looking like it's laying off, okay? And it's not laying off, okay? Here's a little tip to understand. How it's easier for you, if you can get the club in this position starting down, to square the club face up more easily. Because if that shaft was riding that white line, okay, straight down, instead of riding below that white line, he would have to get very steep, and he would have to release the club early, which is what a lot of amateurs do. But what you can notice here is that as that hand drops down that shoulder plane, moving towards the torso plane, they're almost exactly in line by this point here. And we'll see notice how it's looking like this is pointing way outside the line here, right? So it's looking like that shaft by this point is pointing way outside the target line, okay? As he drops it in is when it starts to slot, okay? And he's back to his torso plane. And then this is perfect because look at this. That club is just right in between there. And bang, he's right on it at impact, which is fantastic. Now, to notice, too, that left arm is still connected to the body. And as he comes through impact and his hands ride up that torso plane, okay, and we're seeing how his hands are just right in that yellow line all the way through, all the way through. All the way through. Shaft comes back up on that line, still holding his posture, okay, and then to a finish. So if we look at where his release is, he has a very in-to-out release point. So in other words, the club is coming very much from the inside and going out. So he's more of an under type, torso under plane Okay, so in other words, torso, plane, down, and then his release is out to the right, okay, because his setup is a little bit more underneath. And what I mean by that is his right hand is just a little bit under there, coming through impact, okay, and it's releasing, and then kind of he has to hold his posture to keep that thing on plane, and then he lets his posture go to a full finish at the end. Notice too that through all this point, even there, left arm is still connected to that. Left arm is still connected, and there we can see he still has that nice connection of his left arm to his body, and now his right arm is connected across his body. So there's the arm connection point here on the way down. Staying on plane, feeling like when you're dropping that club down into impact that it's almost going to feel like it's laying off on you. So it's easier for you to square it up with the rotation of your body and just keep turning right through to a full finish. Okay, so great swing. So summary again, setup, and of course setup was great balance, good setup. But as a summary, as the club starts back, keeping that left arm kind of across your chest by the time you get to 9 o'clock. You can use this as a drill when you go to the top, all right, to feel like that arm is across your chest but not way behind you, okay, and feeling like it's falling right down the line as it comes down, okay, and that as you start down, that club feels like it's falling behind you and not staying even with your hands. It's going to feel a little bit laid off. It's going to give you a little bit more time to clear your hips and to get that club face square into impact. So once again, from Par Breakers Golf Academy, I'm Bernard Sheridan. Thanks for joining us, and try to keep it in the short grass.